Hi, I'm Ann Lewis, and I'm here at GDC with Andy Buck, Senior Programmer on Grow Home. What is Grow Home?
It's an adventure of a procedurally animated little kind of robot character called Bud, and he's tasked by his mom, the mothership, with the job of growing a star plant, collecting the seeds out of it, taking the seeds back to mom, and she'll then use those seeds to save his planet and re-oxygenate his world.
This is a really experimental title. It's something that we at Ubisoft have never really done before. Can you talk about how this came to be?
It all started out with one guy's idea that maybe he could optimize the way we do prototyping of characters within game worlds. So he said it'd be really cool if we didn't have to try and involve an animator and an artist every time we wanted to animate. So he said, how about instead if I tried to solve the idea of simulating a fairly effective looking biped, so you could have a little character and put him in the game world and he would just be able to interact with it. He'd be able to run around, grab things, drag things around. That's really where his intention started, and he set off initially in his own time, and then he was given a little bit more time from his leads and from people around him to devote real company time basically. And it turned out that he got a really good little character, and instead, rather than say let's make a thing that we can put in games, we turned it on its head and said let's make a game that we can put around this thing. That's pretty much where it came from, and that's what's become so lovable about Grow Home.
Grow Home is really about player ownership. What does that mean?
Player ownership really means that the player has a great deal of control over their environment. They can write their name in the sky if they want to. You know, it's completely free.
So you said Grow Home came from one guy. How big did the team end up becoming?
Okay, the team ended up being 8 people. 3 programmers, 1 artist, we've got 2 designers, 1 sound engineer and a producer, and that's it.
And it's a very mixed group of talents, some more experienced, some very junior. How did you pick these people?
It's kind of organic, I suppose. We picked some of them because they were involved in moving the early prototype from a real early phase onto something that looked more complete. In other cases, it was just the opportunities that came up as different projects ramped up and down, little bits of free time. I got on it quite early on because we needed some technical expertise to really bring about some changes within the character, within the environments, and it was just about the time that Just Dance was coming down, so I had some opportunity to jump onto a fun ship.
So what are some of the differences between working on a big project versus a small project?
Okay, so they've got, pluses and minuses in both cases, I think. So big projects, you've got that real big opportunity to make a really expansive experience, something that's got loads of detail, something that's got loads of depth. Whereas in a small project, you've got the real kind of focus on the core mechanics that you want to portray because you've got to optimize for your time. And you've got a real kind of tiny communication cycle, so you can literally turn around to the designer and say, hey, how about this? Yeah, we'll try that. It's very low risk as well, which is really nice. You can try all sorts of crazy stuff.
So you've worked at different studios. What's it like working at Ubisoft?
There's lots of openness towards the individual's creativity. And Ubisoft's really the first studio that I've worked at where that individual creativity is really kind of nurtured. The simple answer is awesome.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
That's fine. It's really been good.